Ba-da-da-da-ba-da-da-ba-ba.
Welcome back to the Objectively Bad Podcast.
Ugh.
I hope you keep that little song in the beginning. That was really cute of you.
Yeah, I could do that.
Lovely. My name is Dan. His name is Chadwick. Hope you're doing well.
Dan, can you see?
Somewhat, yeah.
That's fine. You don't need to see me
They're very
anyways.
much like goggles. Like, I do need to clean them. They are very dirty on the inside. So it's like, it's like I have cloudy eyes. It's like I'm going blind or something, but they're fine.
Nice.
They're honestly really nice for the light. Like, I could just wear my sunglasses as well. That also works. But I don't know if you've seen, but when I wear these sunglasses, I'll show them for the viewers. I've worn them on stream quite a few times, and I keep getting called Joe Biden because people think I look like Joe Biden when I wear these, and I don't know why.
Oh my god. All right, let me pull up Joe Biden sunglasses and let's see here.
Like, I'm assuming he wears aviators, and that's why they say it. Because I'm not.
Oh yeah.
He does?
Yeah, he does.
Fuck,
And
man. Shit.
wow, spitting image. Yeah, no,
You see it?
Mr. President?
Hello there. I mean, hey, if I can get some US citizenship so I can come live with you, that'd be great.
True. You live with me, I'll kick the old girlfriend out.
Yeah.
We don't need her.
Get rid of her.
You'll sleep in my bed.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
We'll cuddle every night. Yeah. Could be nice.
Sure. Honestly, like, in terms of moving countries, because I've mentioned before, I would like to leave Australia probably a year after GTA 6 releases, just because being this far away from the rest of the English-speaking world is quite tiresome at times, time zones and all that shenanigans.
Yep.
And I've mentioned that the two countries that I would probably move to are either the UK, England mainly, or America. I guess Canada would technically be on the list as well, but
Sure.
I don't know.
I feel like for you, if you come this far, you might as well just come to me.
Exactly. Like, if I'm going to America, I'm going to America because you're there. Like, that's the main reason. Also, most of the other people I speak to online, whether it's YouTubers or like people I know from Discord, are also all in America. One in Toronto, but all in like Northern America.
Same
so
difference.
it would make a lot of difference. Whereas I don't know anyone in the UK. So, but
True.
I know I like the UK culture better. I can also get
you know the
citizenship
UK a little better.
I know it better. I can also get a visa easier because I'm a New Zealand Australian.
Yeah, we're a little tougher.
It's tough. If I could get a US visa easily, I'd honestly probably do it.
Nice.
Just because
I'll work on that.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you guys subscribe and watch and like the videos to the point where we can make the Objectively Bad Podcast an official company, I can maybe get a visa through that. There's a chance.
Do we just need to be monetized in order to do that?
Honestly, I'm not exactly sure how like the small business startup visas work, because I know those are a thing. But yeah, once you get monetized, you can turn this into a company. You can register it as long as you have income. And I think there are two ways you could feasibly do it. Either one, you set up the company and I act as your employee and you basically get me a visa to come work for the company. But I don't know if you have to be a company of a certain size to do that. And then the other option is that like I am like the CEO, or like we're both CEOs, but I can move to the America in the fact that I'm starting an American company. Technically.
They would give you the visa.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, there's a chance. I'd be down.
I'd be down. All right, people, you heard it. Just start checking out those YouTube videos.
Well,
this is our desperate cry.
We're the ones that chug them out. Just watch them, ideally.
Oh, yeah, just watch them. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not asking you to make the videos. What if they made better videos? Probably it's not hard.
No,
I mean, the bar's low.
It is.
But they look exactly like us.
Oh,
and they call themselves Chad and Dan.
With AI, it's possible.
True.
I know you don't go on Twitter anymore, but it's been a rough week for Twitter. The amount of...
I'm not surprised, but I don't know why.
I've been trying to fight the good fight. Obviously, I'm a very small Twitter account, so I don't get many, tweets don't go viral or anything. But the amount of tweets I have made basically roasting AI in the recent week is large. Because...
That doesn't surprise me.
Recently, I think it's ChatGPT 4.0 came out with a new image model that allows people to basically recreate like different art styles with prompts, which has been a thing for a while, but it's gotten like better or more widespread or whatever the fuck.
Sure.
And one of the big trends that's been happening over the past week is people basically turning their own images into like Ghibli style art. Ghibli, however you want to say it. And Ghibli. And like the president of France did it, the White House did it, the big companies are doing it, big Twitter accounts are doing it. And there's a lot of people like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then the other half of Twitter is like, this is fucking disgusting. And even like Hayao Miyazaki, who is the founder of Ghibli and the one who did all the films, when shown AI for the first time, he says, I am utterly disgusted. I would never wish to incorporate this technology into my work at all. I strongly feel this is an insult to life itself.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole of Twitter doing it. So it's fucking disgusting. And I've just been posting things, basically trying to stomp my foot on them, saying, no, this is bad, because it is. And like the ones...
Doing the Lord's work, Dan.
Thank you. But on top of the Ghibli film art that has been rampant, another type of AI post that I've been seeing a lot more relevant to my field is YouTube, like AI-generated thumbnails. And... These have annoyed me almost more in a sense because like YouTube typically has been a creative space for up and coming small creators. It's not mainstream media, it's YouTube. It's about you. Obviously, we've gotten to a point now where there are big companies and organizations like MrBeast, empires and stuff. But at its core, it's about creative people making cool things that aren't big budget fucking Marvel movies.
Sure.
And now that we're seeing like just people taking thumbnail ideas, throwing them into a language model and popping out a new one. It sucks. It really does. Like some people take MrBeast thumbnails and basically say like, hey, make this thumbnail, but change this thing. So a recent one I saw was MrBeast is a thumbnail from a recent video about going to the most dangerous places in the world. And it's like him laying down with a spear and a lion like biting on the spear to show like, oh my God, he's being eaten by a lion.
Yeah.
And then one of the big, or not big, but one of these like YouTube guru accounts that like say like, oh, here's 10 tips to make your video more orgasmic for the ladies, you know, that sort of thing.
Sure.
He posted, OpenAI's new ChatGPT 4.0 image generator hits different. Now it seems to be the go-to choice for generating good thumbnails. You know, not, you know, artists who have spent years training for it.
Not like artistically creating a thumbnail, putting time and effort. Just typing in a thought and going, yeah, that works, and then being done.
Yeah. But the worst thing is, like, this is just, like, plain copycat, because what they did is they took this MrBeast thumbnail, they plopped it into the image model, and they basically said, change this thumbnail to an Arctic setting. And all it does is just AI generates a polar bear instead of the lion, and, like, changes it to a winter setting. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks very AI generated. Like I'll share screens with you. Just so I'm sure you can find it on Twitter out there somewhere. The polar bear looks like airbrushed.
Yeah, it looks fake.
It looks very fake. The polar bear looks like very like airbrushed and perfect, and it's just shitty. It really is just fucking
His
shitty.
leg like blends into the polar bear.
Yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah.
And I like retweeted that and said, oh my God, so cool. Blocked. And what I'm doing now, I'm not typically the type of person to like block people because I don't care. But what I'm doing now is every single time I see someone use AI for thumbnails or Ghibli or whatever, I'm just blocking them.
Yeah.
I don't think these people should get a platform. I don't think they should be respected or liked.
And just for your sake, it's like, then you don't have to see shit.
Yeah, no, Twitter's bad enough already. I don't need to see AI slop consistently everywhere.
Yeah, when I was more on socials, I hit a point where I was like, I'm just start blocking, or like some of the apps have like, this isn't interesting to me, kind of like don't show me this.
Twitter doesn't work as well as it used to though.
I don't know if a lot of them work very well. I've kind of cut out pretty much all social media. I go on Reddit a little bit, but that's more for like, I do a lot of local subreddits.
That's fair. Yeah.
I have like really specified things.
I have 3 Reddit accounts.
Nice.
I have one for my YouTube account, which I barely ever use, but it is there. I have one that's like general like memes and like subreddits I'm interested in. Like I'm on like a few like of the animes that I watch, or like I have Skyrim on there and RuneScape. And then I have one that's more like more like life advice and like other like more serious things, like workout stuff, like healthy eating.
Sure.
Because I find that's nice reading material, like when I'm like going to bed.
Sure.
Because it's like just text usually, you know, just or like I have a few subreddits that are like the I think we talked about it in a past episode where it's like the interesting like prompts like in life, like not would you rather's necessarily, but like interesting like
philosophical thoughts.
Yes, I know I'm struggling to figure out what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like philosophical thoughts, or like, you know, would like the fucking thing like would you do this for $20,000, but more like interesting ones, not the shit ones, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah,
because it's good reading material. It's not too like, you know, brain activating, whereas my other one is like serious conversation is a subreddit, and like again, it's Reddit. It's like half the shit is shit. But eventually, often enough, you find an interesting enough post. But yeah, no, Twitter.
You could shift.
Twitter's been awful. It sucks.
Yeah, I'm basically only on YouTube Shorts for like that kind of content. And no matter how much I don't want to see Joe Rogan clips, it's constantly fucking feeding me Joe Rogan clips all the time. It's pissing me off.
Yeah,
and the problem is
how it is.
When like the AI kind of voice thing was coming out, when you know there was the like Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Trump like gaming calls.
I love that. I think that's funny.
Those?
Yeah,
it's kind of funny. It only the comedy only lasts for so long, but it's kind of funny. I feel like Joe Rogan was used so much that I see a Joe Rogan clip and it sounds fake. Like he doesn't sound real anymore.
Yes.
I also don't want to listen to Joe Rogan because he just brings on people that say wild shit and just agrees with them.
There are some
because it gets views.
I've never watched a podcast. There are some clips and like people he's brought on that are somewhat interesting. Like he brought on Neil deGrasse Tyson. I like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think he's interesting. But also Joe he's such an idiot sometimes with like like
but he acts like he's not.
Part of it may be on purpose with like because I know some podcast hosts will ask like the dumb simple questions because some people may want to know. But some of the questions he like asks his guests when they explain like a very simple concept is really funny sometimes.
It's like, come on, Joe.
Yeah,
you should know what 2 + 2 is, and why
I think Joe Rogan though. I haven't watched a podcast. I think he is the perfect example of like he is a clip podcast. Like I can't imagine listening to a 3-hour thing, but seeing a clip every once in a while with like a crazy wild statement is like I can see why these get views.
Oh, he pulls so well for clips.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't listen to it either, but yeah, he does so well for clips. But I'm like, YouTube, stop recommending this to me, and they keep recommending this to me.
Nice.
But
yeah. So if you're watching this and you're on Twitter or any other app and you see AI, please block them. They do not deserve a platform. Because I think we talked about AI in one of the first episodes of this podcast. I think
we've talked about. Oh God, I think it was one of our
very
first
early
ones,
on. It was like, I think it was our 2024 predictions. It was like AI will take over the world was the title and thumbnail.
I think you're so right about that.
Because I think there is a place for AI. Because there's another YouTube channel. There's a YouTube channel that I've been watching a little bit recently that needs more views. It's called Good News. Because as we all know, news and social media always portrays the bad shit. Because the bad shit gets clicks and views. So this channel tries to like every month they bring out like 10 news stories that are like positive things. And AI specifically, I don't know if you can take me seriously while wearing these, but I'm going to keep them on anyways.
I don't take you seriously anyway, so it's fine.
Fair enough. But with AI, there have been great leaps and bounds in like cancer research and genomic research. Like the Nobel Prize, I think for 2024, was about a group of scientists that used AI and a new like technique to be able to understand the curling or wrapping of like amino structures in DNA. I'm probably wrong exactly what that is, but something like that. And it basically is going to help allow to predict which genetic, combinations elicit factors in humans. So understanding this more can maybe help understand what people are more likely to be prone to cancer. And we may be able to help actually change those things. So in the future, we may be able to stop a lot of diseases from being a thing. We may be able to get rid of blindness. We may be able to get rid of scoliosis or people being born without limbs or extra limbs. And obviously, if you take that too far, then you get to the point where it's just like, oh, I don't want my child to be, mentally incapable or disabled, which then you get into the moral argument of like, is that okay?
Sure, there's a whole lot there, but we're not there yet, so it's fine.
We're not there yet, but like it's great. Like with cancer research, the AI is helping speed along processes because like with stuff like cancer, you need the amount of data you need to understand to be able to fix cancer is trillions of bits of data, and no humans can really go through that, but AI can do it in seconds. I've read another article a little bit ago. I can't remember what it was for, but there was some sort of coding data thing. There was some sort of like data that
real precise.
I know there was some sort of data set that it was saying that if humans or like if regular computers, I think I remember what it is now. It's for Google's new chip. I think Google made a new chip using a new quantum computer processor that is also linked with AI, I do believe. But with old computers, this data set would have taken, I think, literally trillions of years to actually get through. But with the new chip, it took like 3 days or 3 hours or something. And it speeds it up immensely. So like using these new technologies and AI in these sectors is great. The place where it should never, ever, ever be used, with caveats, is I think the arts. And I think we can all agree, using it in the arts, which is a creative space for humans to express themselves, should not be used by robots.
My biggest thing that I've kind of picked up on is, first of all, I'm having such a hard time taking you seriously while looking at these stupid fucking glasses. I zoned out for a little bit, or zoned out my vision, and I come back and I was gonna be like, oh yes, and I just looked and I visibly kind of laughed.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, good. I can't tell what you're seeing because I can't see your eyeballs.
I was looking at you. Don't worry. I'm always looking at you.
Okay. Oh. All right. I think within the arts, AI is great for one thing and one thing only, which is ideation. It's really great if you just need some inspiration. You're like, I have all these thoughts, but maybe I just can't put it into a visual. You pop it up, you type in your little prompt, and then it gives you something and you go, oh, sweet. And then you go off from there. Because like AI written papers suck. Oh, yeah, I've read some of them.
They're bad.
They're not good.
Now, the thing is that they will get better and they'll continue to get better.
Sure.
There will become a point, like if this is probably far down the line, but if we discover how to create consciousness and we make conscious AI, then we can have the discussion again about, is the conscious AI making art okay because they're technically then creative? I think it probably will be, to be honest.
Sure. But that's, I think, leagues away. I don't think we're anywhere near
leagues
that.
away, and it's a completely different conversation anyways, because at that point, I don't even think you call them AI. Like, they are artificial intelligence, but it is like, you've basically created a new species at that point, which is
well, it's almost
something else.
Maybe you call that AI, but what we have now is not AI. To some degree, what we have now is not really AI.
Yeah, I mean, whether you call it intelligence,
it's just a buzzword.
Yeah, whether you call it intelligence or not, I don't know.
Sure.
You were saying ideation is one place you can use AI in art. I think there is another place, and this is more of a specific use case. So I use AI. I will say, I use AI on Photoshop and on Premiere Pro. There are two main forms of AI I use. In Premiere Pro, there is a remix tool, which basically, if you have a music track, you can click this remix tool and drag it out, and it will pretty much artificially lengthen the track. We use it for our podcast. The background music.
Yeah, we do. Fuck, you're right.
The background music you hear is artificially lengthened to the length of the podcast. It basically just takes snippets of the song and puts them in places so it sounds like it never ends. It's a very low form of AI. It's basically just chopping up the song and putting it back, but it technically is AI. But you're not changing the source material. You're just extending what it already is. You could do this without AI, but just literally chopping up the song and putting it back to back. But this is just like a simpler process.
This is quicker.
And a way to do it.
It takes like 10 seconds.
Yeah, and it's very common as well. Another form of AI that I use, not super often, but here and there when I need to, is when making YouTube thumbnails. If, say, I take a picture, or there's two uses actually. For the thumbnail of this video you're currently watching, you see me and Chad are cut out. Like we have lines around us in a shadow, I think, and there's a background behind us. To cut out, us. What I used to do like a year ago is I'd take the pen tool in Photoshop and I'd slowly go around and like cut us out. Now with the new version of Photoshop, there is a character select tool basically where it says like select the object on the screen or the person on the screen, and it will roughly cut out using AI who it thinks the main focus is. Usually if it's just like us on a screen like this, it will cut out me. Now this isn't perfect, so I'll go back and touch it up because sometimes it may like add the chair in the background because it's the same color as my jacket, or it may not include my ear because it's too light. So I'll go touch it up, but I'll use that to make the process quicker. The other thing with Photoshop I use is like if the background is not extending all the way, so say I take a screenshot of my GTA character and I want the background of Los Santos to like extend to the screen a little bit because it doesn't fill up all the way. I'll extend the background a tiny bit. Those are the only places I ever use it. I'll never use it to make a full thumbnail. I'll never use it to make a full artificial background or character. It's only for extending things that are already there or taking away things that are already there in a quicker way.
The thing is, so you're using it as a tool, not as a way to create.
Exactly.
Because everything we have is there. It's a tool.
Yes.
Purely. In this sense.
I was going to make a tweet about it, but I didn't know how to put it into words concisely. There's a very big difference between using AI as a tool and using it, like you said, as like a creator. There's a very, very, very big difference. Because 100%. it should be a tool. AI should be... I can't say it. I was going to say AI should be the new paintbrush, but that's not what I'm trying to elicit. It shouldn't be used all the time, but if there's a use case for it, like extending a background or quickly cutting out a part of the image, or like another thing I do, for our thumbnail poses, like when we're going like, oh, or whatever in the thumbnail, we don't take those afterwards. I usually just take screenshots from the video, and because it's from the video, my microphone's here. As you can see, it's right here. Chad's is in front of him. So I'll use the AI to remove the microphone from the image. I circle around it. I type into the prompt on Photoshop, remove microphone. It removes the microphone. I touch it up a little bit if it's not perfect, and we're done. And I think that's a perfectly fine way to use it. But if I said to the Chat GPT 4.0 thing, please create a thumbnail with these two guys, and I send images of us in, getting killed by a lion or something. Like, no, don't do that. That's shitty. And you're taking away jobs from artists. You're not respecting artists. You know, it sucks. It
just kind of sucks. I think it's fun. Like, we've done that kind of like on the side just to see like, oh, what do we get? It's almost like a fun game. But for the sense of creating, it's like, yeah, you're right. It takes away from the actual form of art. I mean, I don't know if how many people are worried about the thumbnails as a form of art, but it is a form of art. And like making a good thumbnail does take skill and talent.
I mean, there are people that make a living off making thumbnails. That's
true.
Are jobs. So that does
take away from people.
Also, it's also just copying as well. Like with the example I gave earlier with the Mr. Beast thumbnail, that's straight up. If someone took a Mr. Beast thumbnail and said to the ChatGPT image generator, they gave them a picture of themselves and then just said, change these other details a little bit, that's straight up stealing. That's just copying.
True.
You can't.
Well, that's the thing. Is AI doesn't really make new things. It just copies from a bunch of other things to make something, which to some degree is how art works, but a person also creates new ideas from old ideas rather than just following a prompt. Dan just mysteriously hit screen share and didn't tell me why.
I'm sharing Chad an image that exactly represents what he just said.
Oh yeah, that is a good image.
It's you describe it.
Yeah, okay. So to describe the image, there's 3 panels. The first panel is a cat fishing, and it has a like water bucket right next to it. And then the second panel is a second cat walking up to it. And then the third panel, that cat is fishing out of the bucket of the other cat, and the cat has a thing that says AI on it.
Yeah.
And the other cat is looking at him, and he's not very happy.
Yeah, I imagine the bucket is fishing it. The whole point is like, the
artists you're just stealing the fish that they pulled.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Like, because AI, as much as it is intelligence, it doesn't create new things. It takes things and just adapts and changes them to what they already are. Now, you can make the argument that YouTubers also do the same thing. They just take thumbnail ideas. Like my thumbnails were inspired originally by like how like other GTA YouTubers did their thumbnails. And you'll see Mr. Beast has inspired other people to do thumbnails like him. But there's still that aspect of like you are creating it yourself. And you're not just typing into a thing saying like, hey, do this for me.
Yeah. Well, it's also you took inspiration from something and then threw in your own thoughts and made. I mean, that's how all art is made. There's no. I think there was a lawsuit against Ed Sheeran where someone was like, you stole the chord progression of this song. And he won the court case, but then also proved like, okay, well, then I could just say that you've stolen the chord progression from another song because there's no way that like you can't copyright a chord progression. It was like, there are songs that sound really similar because some people took inspiration or it just happened to happen. But like,
I mean,
art comes from other things.
Speaking about music, you know the 4 chord song, don't you, Chad?
I'm well aware of the 4 chord song.
If you haven't heard of it, there's a band called Axis of Awesome. Funnily enough, one of them was taught by the same music teacher we were taught by, which is
kind of cool. And we are just as successful, right, Dan?
Yeah, just as successful. So we had the same teacher as one of them. And they have a very famous song called the 4 chord song, which they just play a bunch of very famous songs that have the same chord progression, and they show to an audience that, hey, a lot of music is the fucking same thing over and over again. Like, it's kind of near impossible at this point in 2025 to create a completely unique piece of content. It's very rare you come across something that isn't inspired by something else, similar to something else. Those are the main 2 things. Really, like, I can't even think of like an original piece of content that comes to my mind, because like if you look at just a GTA, for example, even my oppressor video, I was the first person to do that oppressor grind, but like it's not that different to just another Rags to the Riches series by just put a goal at the end, or like the 3 Idiots videos that we did. There have been like, the reason why I chose the 3 Idiots title is because I've seen other people do like idiots attempt things in other games before, so I took the title for us. It's very common. Nothing
is inherently new. It's just a new spin on something.
Yeah. Even as down to something like your personality. Your personality is just a mismatch of the people you've grown up around. If I grew up around different parents and had different friends, I'd be a completely different person. I'm not like this because like genetics do play a factor, but even genetics are taken from your parents, so that's not new either. Like, nothing is new. It's just slightly different.
Nothing is truly, Whereas AI, it's a robot, so it's not consciously making something new. A little side tangent. I made a joke that we're just as successful as the Axis of Awesome, but if you combine your YouTube subscribers and objectively bad podcast YouTube subscribers, we have more YouTube subscribers than them, and it's funny because you do actually need objectively bad.
Oh, really?
To push over. Because they're at 343K and you're at 342K, and then we have like 2K.
Honestly, great timing, because I'm at 342.8. So
nice.
As of this moment, and probably only for another like day or 2, me and Jad combined are more successful than the Axis of Awesome.
Yeah.
So a teacher, I'm not going to say your name because I don't want to dox. I mean, we've both said what school we went to.
Sure.
So it doesn't really matter.
Actually, I don't think we did.
I've mentioned it on stream.
Okay, anyways. Big ups to our teacher.
Yeah. We made it.
Appreciate us. Love us, please.
Yeah. Because I don't think he did in high school.
He did in his own way.
Yeah. I think he liked us as people, but hated us as students. I think that was the situation.
Honestly, that's fair. We weren't good students.
No, we in music class, we honestly spent like half the time playing in our band instead of practicing stuff for actual class,
which is still music related.
It just wasn't, actually what we were being tested on.
Well, sure.
I wish we got tested on that. That'd be cool, man.
I got a 6 in higher level IB music, and I don't know why.
I got a 4, but that's because this teacher graded me harshly.
But technically, the IB doesn't. I don't think they take in the grades.
Well, no. So what happened is with the IB system, International Baccalaureate, what happens is you're in high school, like your high school teacher grades you, and then your grades get sent to the IB like board, and then they grade again. And then what happened with some of my grades, like for one of our things, which was music technology, basically we had to create music. And you can do like classical, like piano or whatever, or you can do tech, which is like modern, like fucking Ableton, Fruity Loops, GarageBand, blah, blah, blah. And we chose to do that.
FL Studio.
And our teacher's kind of more of a classical musician. So he doesn't understand it. So he couldn't teach us it. We had to teach ourselves. And he gave me like a 2 or 3 out of 7.
Nice.
In the IB system.
I probably got a 3 or a 4.
And then it went to the IB.
The shit I made was not good.
Yeah. And then it went to the IB and they gave me a 6 for it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I just did really well on the written part.
Yeah, I did really bad. I don't know. I think I did okay on the written. I did really bad on the final exam.
I did really well on the final exam. The written essay, I actually also did really well. He graded me harsher than the actual IB did.
I think I got a 5 on the essay. I think I got like honestly, I think I got like a 3 and a 4 on the exam. It's
weird because it was 4 parts. There were like 4 things within this grade. And I got, IB is 1 to 7, 7 being the best. I got like a 7, a 6, a 4, and a 3, and I got a 6 out of that. It's wonky, but you know.
That's weird. I think I literally got like 6, 5, 4, 3, honestly.
Nice.
Oh well, doesn't matter.
Anyways, that's our reminiscing.
Yeah, good times.
I think it's just kind of cool for us because I've seen that video of them playing the 4-chord song.
Yeah.
A lot because it's really entertaining.
It was really cool for me because the music teacher I had before this one, she also showed me this video when I was in like 7th grade or something. And then we got our teacher in 10th grade and he's like, oh yeah, I taught those guys. We were like, what the fuck? That's awesome. He
was cool. He would kind of casually drop like, oh yeah, I worked with these people. And we're like, what?
Well, like he was taught. So our music teacher was taught by the guy who wrote West Side Story as well.
Yeah.
Which is just like,
dude, it's
crazy.
He'd show us this video of like a really famous composer, more modern composer, obviously, and be like, "Oh yeah, he was my teacher at the time." And we were like, "What?"
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It's kind of wild. So
benefits of going to a elite international school, I guess.
True. That was such a humble brag that as you're like kind of scratching your head, like, oh
yeah. I mean, like we're not a part of the elite class. You were there because your dad's in the military.
Oh, God, no.
I was there because my dad's company sent him there to do some IT management. We were low class.
It's such a weird thing to be like, we were the poor people, but we were probably middle to upper middle class.
Yeah, like in Australia, I was
generally
middle upper, maybe even like upper lower class. But in this school, I felt poor.
Oh yeah.
It was
we had a classmate be like, yeah, I get $1,000 a month for an allowance.
It was 2.
It 2?
It was 2. I remember she told me she got I mean, this may be wrong. Hopefully she's not listening. She got $1,000 a month for like living expenses because I believe at the time she lived in an apartment by herself that her parents owned. So she like $1,000 for like obviously like food and stuff like that, and then $1,000 just to like shop and have fun and all that. So
God,
$2K a month.
I mean, not her fault. It's her parents that did that.
Oh, of
I mean,
course.
they're rich. They could just do it. It's fine.
Yeah, no, fully.
My allowance was whatever money I made bagging groceries.
Yep.
That month.
I mean, I was a bit luckier. If my parents were pretty chill. If I wanted to go out with friends, they'd just give me money for the night. It was a bit more difficult for me because you lived on an American base, so you could get a job English speaking. I couldn't really get a job when I was living in Germany and speak German. I mean, I made like $3 from YouTube, but I don't know if that mattered much.
Oh, you did make money from YouTube at the time?
Yeah, I think I made like, I don't know if I ever got it. I may have got it in a PayPal account actually. Yeah, on my old YouTube channel, I think I made like $2 or €2 back in the day, which is pretty sick.
Now that's what I call broke to ballin'.
It is. I mean, hey, it's more than our podcast has made so far.
That is true.
So we'll take it.
That is true.
Hey, if you want our podcast to be more successful than my old Call of Duty Cutcom channel, please watch.
Please just watch on repeat.
I mean, it is more successful. My old channel only had 180 subscribers at max.
How did you make Did you just have a video go viral? Like,
No,
did
so
it pop
YouTube
off?
was different back in the day with how you made money.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know when it changed, but obviously now you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time to start making money off of ads. Whereas back in the day, you as a gaming creator, you couldn't get monetized through YouTube. You just couldn't at all. So what you had to do is you had to join what was called an MCN. So if you guys know of anything called like Machinima, or there's other ones I've already forgot names. Famous YouTube MCNs.
Not that good then.
It's just been a long time since these have been a thing.
Yeah.
Full Screen was a big one. Junkin Media. The one I joined, which I was looking back on it recently, they seem very scammy and creepy. A bit weird. But it did work at the time. It was called Freedom. Funny name, honestly.
Oh God.
Yeah, but no.
Freedom.
So what you'd have to do is you'd have to sign up to Freedom or any other of these networks, Machinima, which Machinima was very predatory, but doesn't matter. And you sign up through them. They would then get you ad rate through YouTube for your channel. So same thing as before. Every 1,000 views, you get a certain amount of money. I think back then it was way less. Like at the moment, for every 1,000 views, I make like $7 or something. Whereas back then, I think it was like 5 cents, honestly, or like 50 cents.
Oh wow,
it was really bad. And yeah, through that, I think I just got like a $2 payout or something after getting a few thousand views.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't much, but it was honest work, as they say.
Hey, yeah, it was.
I mean, yeah, YouTube has changed a lot since the early days. It's kind of crazy that you can make a living off of shorts now. Whereas shorts weren't even a thing. You can live stream on YouTube now, and there are memberships, and you can gift memberships. I found out when I was streaming yesterday that you can actually gift memberships on YouTube now, which I didn't think was a thing. So I had both Joker for Life and Subscribe for Talkers, 2 other GT YouTubers, come in my chat yesterday and give some memberships to people, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
It is nice because, YouTube. I think we talked about it last episode. That YouTube is kind of like the new mainstream now. But it still feels like it doesn't feel like a mainstream platform. It doesn't feel like a Netflix.
Well, it's because it's different from Netflix, and that Netflix is something that Netflix has to approve everything.
Yeah,
and Netflix gets the choice of what goes on its channel. Same with Hulu. Same with every other streaming service. Where YouTube, anyone could post on YouTube,
which is awesome.
These two schmucks. Which is really cool. It's also been really good at adapting to Twitch Twitch became a big streaming service. Streaming in a different sense, not Netflix, but live streaming service. And YouTube adapted pretty well to that, where I don't think they stepped on the toes of Twitch, but they did adapt very well.
Well,
and also adapted to work with Switch.
Well, Twitch was actually more so Twitch that wasn't adapting to YouTube, because Twitch has been a thing since, I want to say before 2010. It used to be called Justin TV, then it got changed to Twitch TV. And obviously it was the place to live stream for the longest time. And then YouTube streaming started to become a thing in 2016 when YouTube Gaming launched. But it was never really a big thing. It was just sort of a thing you could do. It was sometimes only for the bigger channels. The first Sidemen charity match was streamed on YouTube Gaming when that was originally a thing.
Yeah.
And some of the old big YouTube events. But then over the past sort of 4 or 5 years, YouTube streaming has gotten bigger. But Twitch used to have a policy for affiliates and partners that you weren't allowed to stream on YouTube if you were a Twitch partner. But Twitch has been slowly losing profits and losing people to YouTube, because YouTube at the start, when they were trying to get streaming really going, maybe 2020, 2019, they would send contracts out to YouTubers. So Ludwig, who's a big YouTuber, got a multi-million-dollar contract deal to stream exclusively on YouTube for a few years. And this happened to a bunch of other people. So I think Vicstar123, Sidemen member, big creator, I think he was one of the first people that ever got a YouTube contract for streaming when Warzone was really big.
Oh, nice.
But Twitch obviously noticed that they're losing a lot of their big creators. Twitch is already a company that takes losses year after year after year.
Yeah.
So they eventually changed it so that you can now stream on both. You can multi-stream. I think some people still are only allowed to stream on one at one time. You can't do both at once, but
yeah,
creators my size are allowed to do either. And it's quite nice. I think similar to how YouTubers how do I explain this? A lot of times competition is healthy, but honestly, it's almost more healthy to not be competitive in a lot of these spaces.
I mean, you see it in gaming when it comes to like cross-platform games.
Yep.
That I think has been massive for multiplayer games because like, let's say I'm a PC player and all my buddies have Xbox. If I wanted to play Warzone, for example, but Warzone wasn't cross-platform, well, if I can't play with all my buddies, do I really want to play it? Okay, cool, I don't get the game.
Yep.
Whereas like the idea that I can have anything and play with any of my friends is fantastic. And I want to say Fortnite started that. Maybe.
They were
one of the big ones to do it.
Yeah, probably one of the big ones at the start for sure. Because, some games are still not cross-platform. GTA is not cross-platform. And every single live stream, I have hundreds and hundreds of people messaging saying like, hey, can I join? I'm on PS4. And I'm like, no. And what I've started doing is, hold up, let me see if I can get it on here. What I've started doing in live streams every so often is I will put up I'll put up some text on my screen that reads like this. You can't see it at the moment, Chad, but it's basically just giant red text that says, GTA Online is not cross-platform. I'm on PC. And when people keep asking, I'll like put it up for like a few seconds because like, I don't want to be a dick. I know that a lot of times there's like kids asking or people that don't understand, but GTA has never been cross-platform, and even GTA 6, I don't know if it's going to be cross-platform, honestly. It doesn't...
Well, GTA Online it came before cross-platform came.
Yeah, 2013, came before PS4. Like, it was on PS3 when it first came out. I'm shocked they haven't changed it yet, because, it's been a while. I can understand not having crossplay with PC because of hackers, but surely the consoles should at least have it.
Right.
Either way.
The difference between Xbox and PlayStation shouldn't be. But there's also, if you have GTA on PS4 and then you get a PS5, you need to buy GTA again. To play online at least.
Technically, no.
Oh, really?
You can play the PS4 version of GTA on PS5, but there's a PS5 version for enhanced that you have to play with other PS5 versions.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. You couldn't do. Okay. You could still play PS4 online,
but it wouldn't be the enhanced
version.
Play
with other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a bit annoying. But yeah, most games though are cross-platform. Warzone's cross-platform. FIFA's cross-platform. Everything you can think of is mainly cross-platform. And back to the point.
Rivals, I know, is cross-platform right now.
And back to what we were talking about with being competitive. A lot of times in YouTube spaces, you see people like fighting, saying like, oh, I don't want to collaborate that person. He's my competition. I want to do better than him. Most of the time, it's more beneficial to you to actually work together and grow together as a community. That's like a very normal thing. And it's the same with social media platforms. If TikTok and YouTube and Twitch sort of work together in this like ecosystem, they're all going to do better.
They'd all benefit. 100%.
Like, there's no real downside to it. Because say you have a creator like Mr. Beast, who is big on YouTube, big on TikTok, big on Reels, big on Snapchat, probably, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
All those platforms are benefiting from that. Whereas if YouTube said to Mr. Beast, hey, you're only allowed to post on here, nowhere else. Then all the views he got from TikTok that may have brought people to the videos, they're gone. All of the people, following him on Snapchat, I don't know if he has Snapchat, they're gone.
Sure.
I know he doesn't stream on Twitch, but like with a lot of Twitch creators, all those views are gone. So it's good to see that Twitch like opened up that we can have more compatibility, more relationships, more flow.
More flow. I mean, that's the thing is like, even we've done that a little bit. We're like, we've posted a couple shorts and we're going to try and continue to do that. But we don't post this just to YouTube. We post this to Spotify and we post this to Apple. Is it Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I can't remember if there's a difference between Apple Music and Apple, or specifically Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
I think maybe one other. When we do our shorts, they're on YouTube Shorts. They're on Instagram Reels. They're on TikTok. And it's like, for a user like me, I'm really only on YouTube. So if I don't see it on YouTube, I won't know about it. Or someone might only be on Instagram, or someone really might only be on TikTok. And it's like, if you're not allowed to collaborate on these both, it hurts you. And then in the end, if we became more popular because something went viral on TikTok and then more people watch YouTube, YouTube benefits from it.
Yep.
Whereas if we only post to YouTube and, you know, we're a podcast, we actually, I think, tend to get more hours on like Spotify or like Apple Podcasts. And that's fair. When I listen to podcasts, I don't go onto YouTube, I go on to Spotify. So like, it's useful to be able to spread your content out as much as physically possible because not everyone uses every single medium.
Yep, exactly. Like again, with Spotify, if you don't have YouTube Premium, you're not allowed to turn off your phone when watching a video. So like if you wanted to, you know, turn off your phone, put it in your pocket, go for a run, or go in the shower and listen to your podcast, you can't really do that on YouTube unless you have Premium. Whereas if you have Spotify Premium, you can do it.
Yeah. Or you have to like awkwardly, if you're going on a run, you have to awkwardly like have your phone screen on while you're running, even though you're clearly not watching it.
Which is annoying.
But you know, that's how they get you to buy Premium.
Yeah, I have Premium on 2 accounts.
I don't have Premium. I don't need it.
That's fair.
I don't use it enough.
I use it too much.
I mean, it's also, I have Spotify Premium, so it's like, it wouldn't really be worth it. I mean, technically with videos, it would help, but like.
Yeah, I do it on YouTube because I mainly watch YouTube on my TV on a different account from my main one. So ads on TV are annoying, and then I have it on my YouTube account as well.
True.
For like, if I'm like trying to research a video or like look at what other GTA YouTubers have done, I don't want to watch a fucking minute ad before I can do that. Just annoying.
It's also annoying when you use YouTube on the TV and normally you get 5-second skippable ads, but the TV only ever gives you like maybe like it never gives you 5 seconds to skip an ad, or it rarely does.
It's also more
like,
annoying on
so
TV.
it'll work on the internet. Yeah. Stupid. Annoying, Dan. I'm not here for it.
Me neither. You know what else is annoying?
What else is annoying?
The fact that I can't decide which topic I want to go into.
That is annoying.
Yeah. I mean, there's 2 things I'm interested in. I'll let you decide what you're more interested in talking about. One is pet peeves. With like people. Because while I've been streaming, I've noticed more. And also just people in general. The other one is I've been watching Severance recently. Good show.
Oh, okay.
And we can talk about the philosophical implications of splitting your memory into 2.
Yeah.
And other interesting topics like that. Yes.
Sure. What if I just said neither?
Then I'll just go kill myself.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so sad.
Yeah.
Fine, then I'll pick one. We'll talk about Severance. I haven't watched Severance whatsoever, so you get to fill me in on at least the conceptuals behind it.
Yeah.
But I've heard it's really, really good.
It is really, really good.
Go for it.
Yeah. So
what's the gist?
The gist, for what we're going to talk about, you don't need to know any plot details, really. The only thing I'm going to explain to the audience as well, if you haven't seen it, is the general concept of Severance, which I kind of explained already. The basic thing is that the people in the show, they work for a company called Lumen, and they have this technology where they can split your memories between your work self and your non-work self. So when you go to work, they go down an elevator, and while they're in the elevator, they switch, they forget everything about their normal life, and they are now their work persona. And when they leave at 5 p.m., they forget everything about work, and they're their regular person again. So their lives are completely split in 2. So basically, when their first day of the job is when this person is born, and when they get fired is when they die. That's the general concept of it.
Huh.
So the people that go to work never see outside of the office. When they leave work at 5, the last thing they see is them in the elevator, and then the next thing they see is them leaving the elevator for the next day at work. Basically, like nothing ever happens. They never experience sleep. They never experience sunlight or nighttime. It's only in the office. And then the other person never experiences work whatsoever.
Interesting.
It is quite the intriguing concept, because we've all had thoughts before about like stuff like cloning and stuff as well. Like, how cool would it be to have a version of myself that just does work for me? Like, how sick would that be?
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, this is a bit different to cloning. Both have their moral implications, But Severance is very, very interesting because you're basically creating a new human. You might as well be. So like the way memories work as well, it's like they obviously remember how to speak. They remember like, facts and details about the world, but they just don't know anything about themselves. They don't know their name when they wake up. They don't know if they have a family or not. They don't know how old they are, blah, 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 blah. The only things they know are what the people in the room tell them, and they do tell them their real names, not last name, just first name and initial. And that's kind of it. And then they just work for this company, and there's shady shit going on. It's a weird company, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So I got 2 questions for you before we get into the ethical and philosophical thoughts on this. First question, how or why do they justify, like, what is the reasoning behind why they do it?
So I'll talk about the reason why the people do it are various. So like the main character, Mark, he decides to become severed because he recently lost his wife in a car accident, and he basically wants a version of him to forget about the pain for 8 hours a day.
Okay.
So he chooses to be severed so he can stop the pain, basically. There's another character, we find out he does it because he's really struggled to hold down a job, and this is the only job that he could get to provide for his family.
Okay.
Because in this world, it's a very controversial procedure. They're discriminated against after they do it. But it's a job, because it's a job not many people want to do. If you want to do it, you're pretty much guaranteed the job.
Okay, interesting. Second question. So it is the same body.
It's the same body.
Just almost 2 different minds.
Yeah, let me continue to answer the other side of it. About why the company justifies severance as a thing.
Okay.
So the company, Lumen, justifies severance because the work they do in this severed floor of the company is highly, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like security.
Secure, yeah. Like it's information that shouldn't get out, basically.
It's highly sensitive.
Highly sensitive information, yes.
There we go. We got there.
From what we can see, it's weird. Even when they're down there, they don't know what they're doing. So there's definitely weird stuff going on. I'm on like season 2, episode 4, and there's like 5 more episodes of season 2, I think.
Okay.
We're starting to uncover a few things here and there. There's obviously shady shit going on. It's pretty culty. There's a big cult going on about like the founder of the company and some stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, even what they're doing down there, it's really weird. In this room as well, there's only 4 people in this department they work in. They have like a boss and like a security guard and another guy. But there's only 4 people, and then there's like another department fucking far away. The hallways down there are like a maze. They've purposely designed this office to be like a maze so the employees don't talk to each other because they want to keep information secure.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff. It's basically all about security, but I think I'm thinking it's more of like a weird social experiment type deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's certainly odd. But yeah, go ahead with your next question.
The second question was, do they keep the same... and I think you answered this. It's they keep the same body.
Yes, same body.
What if something they do outside of work affects their physical body? Do they know anything about it when they're inside of work?
So the opposite has happened. So for example, there was a scene where the main character, I think someone threw something at his head, and he had like a bruise on his head. And what happened is when he went outside, there was a note on his car saying, "Hello, Mark. Today at work, you accidentally slipped and hit your head on something." So they lied about what happened.
Gotcha.
They didn't tell him the actual truth, but they said, "This happened. We are so sorry." And they gave him a gift card to a fucking diner to compensate him. So they basically, and there's more extreme versions of this thing that I won't mention for spoilers, but yeah, they basically lie and say like, "Hey, this happened." They don't tell them the real reason why, to also keep, information separate, because I think there is also an idea of like, while this severed operation does like split the memories, I think they also want to try and keep everything as far apart as possible, just to make sure that nothing overlaps. So, they're not, they delay people's exits so that when they leave the building, they're delayed by 5 minutes so that they run into each other outside, just in case they spark a memory or something as well. That's sort of how it works.
Is this the only company doing it to their knowledge? Like, is it like all across the world, there's some amount of severance in different companies, or is it like this is the sole?
From what I can tell, Lumen is the only company that does it, but Lumen works in like 206 countries.
Okay.
So it's like a big global conglomerate. Like,
okay.
I don't know exactly what they do, but it feels like they're sort of like the Apple of this world. Like they do tech and things. I don't know.
We had talked about cloning, and this kind of reminds me, I don't know if you saw it recently, but I saw Mickey 17.
I have not seen it. I've seen clips, yeah.
The concept of that, which I think it's not the same but is similar to this, is they're exploring this new planet, and they have a person that has a job, and I'm trying to remember what the name of the job. Oh, he's an expendable. He's the only expendable on the flight. And essentially the idea is they have copied his DNA and memories and like everything. And they can make clones of him. They also they back him up like once a week so that he if he dies, he has most of his memories still. But they use him in ways where they're like, we have no idea if we send someone out here, if they'll die. All right, good luck. And they kind of just don't care if he dies. And I think it has similar implications here where it's like, he was he was running from essentially a loan shark. And he was like, yeah, I'll sign up for anything. And they're like, how about this? And he's like, if it gets me on the plane, I don't care. But it's interesting because it kind of has this similar implication of it's not cloning in Severance, but it's
splitting,
almost essentially clone. It's splitting.
Yeah. It's also similar. We talked about it in the Invincible episode with multi-pole and duplicate.
Yeah.
Cloning there. It's the idea of the fact that you can clone yourself and kill a version of yourself, but then the other version of you is still alive. It's very morally weird because typically in these shows or movies that do deal with cloning, you only see the perspective of the main one.
Yeah.
But there are people I think the Mauler twins in Invincible as well portray it really well. They're they are dying. They are still people, even if they are quote unquote clones. But with the Mauler twins, they've died so many times. I don't know which one is the real one or the original. The original's gone at this point, most likely. Oh, they're both
original's
gone.
Clearly gone, but. Yeah. The other comparison is you say, a lot of times you follow a main one. The whole point of Mickey 17 is, a little bit of spoilers here, go watch the movie, it's really good, is Mickey 17 is his name is Mickey and he's the 17th clone.
Yep.
He goes on this expedition, looks like he is going to die, and a guy essentially just leaves him because he's like, I can't really get to you without risking my life, so I'm just gonna leave you down here. And they just expect that he dies. And then it turns out that he doesn't. He comes back to the ship 2 days later and finds out that there is a Mickey 18, and now there are two of them, which they're not supposed to have. And it's okay, well, yeah, Mickey 17 was our main clone, but they're both people.
Yep.
And it's an interesting, these kind of things are really interesting because obviously it's something that we can't have at this, we don't have cloning and we don't have severance. So it's really interesting, the moral implications. Because on one end, it could be cool. It'd be so cool to just be oh, I just wake up in the morning, I do my thing. My brain turns off when I go to work and my brain turns back off when I'm back from work. Great. It feels like I never work.
Yep.
But also there's the second part of you that does nothing but work.
Yes.
And that sounds so terribly depressing.
Yeah. Well, in this show, I think they do portray it really well because they know nothing different. They come to some of them enjoy the work. Some of them do hate it. And it depends on personality as well.
True.
Because that
makes sense.
It's sort of in high school, in one of my English classes, I think, there was this sort of debate on if a king had a child and he raised that child in complete isolation from the world and he taught that child that killing is good and torture is good and brought him in slaves to whip him. And then at 18 years old, you send that child out into the real world and he kills and rapes and murders and enslaves people.
Yeah.
Can you blame that child for being evil?
Probably not.
And
He was taught evil.
And I guess it's a different situation, but similar with like Severance or the cloning. It's like if work is all they know, can you really expect them to hope for something better?
I guess if work is all they know, then they wouldn't be disappointed by work.
Yeah.
Because it would just feel like life.
Exactly. Now, the Severance is a bit different because since they do have memories of the world, they do know that there is a different life out there. Like, for example, one of the characters says, like, I imagine my outie, which is what they call their, like, outside personas. I imagine my outie lives in a houseboat on a lake. So, like, they clearly know stuff that's going on. And, like, when they first, when these innies, the severed people, first wake up in the severed office, they have like a little questionnaire. They ask them, "What's your name? What state were you in?" And they're meant to answer, "I don't know," because their memory's wiped. But they answer like, "Name any U.S. state." And like the girl who you see first is Delaware, so they do know stuff about the world.
Yeah,
and they do understand that this isn't everything, but they're just. Knowing about something and experiencing something are also two very different things, as I'm sure you can tell. Like, I like watching videos on Japan, but actually being there is going to be completely different to just knowing it's there. So there's, there's different ways, I guess, different characters will interpret their life in that situation, but most of them become relatively content with it. And then some of them are guilted into it by saying like, oh, they're providing for a family up there, so they need to do well. And obviously, this company are very weird and culty. So they'll always say things like, oh, you're helping humanity down here. You're doing very important work. I don't think it's actually important work. But, oh well.
But I mean, that's a good point. If they don't know what the outside life is, they could easily be guilted in. Because again, you go, hey, you need this job. If you don't do this job, your outie just like dies or like doesn't have money. And you go, I guess, if you only get opinions from work, from people who are, if you only get one source of information, you just believe that information. Yeah. Because there's nothing else to believe.
And in Severance, there's a person there's like a health therapist. I can't remember what they call her. There's a health therapist that if the innies are just showing signs of stress or anger or sadness or whatever, they get sent to the health therapist, whatever, wellness director or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And they basically sit in this room and this wellness director reads out facts about the outie's life to make the innie feel better about the person they are on the outside. But
are they lies?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I think.
But it's really funny. Like, I was dying laughing at these scenes because the way it works is that the innie, the severed person, must emotionally react to all the facts equally. They're not allowed to show preference to one fact over the other. I don't know why this is, but it just is how it is. So the wellness director will read out like, your outie is a good person and donates to charity. And then they'll go like, your outie loves skiing. And then they'll say like, your outie is loved by loads of women and has a lot of sex. And the facts are just like, so like, they go from like really like nice they're doing charity to like
mundane.
Your innie gets laid. Your innie has a nice smile. And, like, there's such a weird ranges of like things they say to them. And they're all like, some of them are like harmless bullshit, like they have a nice smile, but they're all bullshit. Like none of them are real.
Yeah.
But it's really funny. Like they threw me off guard because I thought they're just gonna say like actual like nice things about them. Then it's like, your outie has a massive hog. It's like, where did this come from? and it's supposed to make them like feel better about themselves. And again, because they know nothing else about except for what the company tells them, I guess it does to some degree.
Yeah. I mean, if they believe the lies, it's doing everything right, and they'll never know if it's wrong. Is the thing.
Well, I'll spoil just a little thing, not actual details, but if you don't want to hear anything about the show, skip a bit. Eventually, at some point in the show, some of the innies do make it to the outside world.
Oh.
And they do see things. And obviously, They know they're being lied to, and they know the work they do is, weird and mysterious, and there's shady shit going on. And then from that point forward, they start to not believe anything that the company says. One of the main characters, Irving, he is super loyal to this company. He reads the company handbook and knows it line by line, and he praises the founder of this company, Colty, like I said. But then after the situation happens, he's like, I'm gonna burn this fucking place to the ground. And he's fighting people and doing all this shit. And it's crazy how people change once they found out they've been lied to their whole life, basically.
Yeah.
In this situation.
Huh.
Yeah. And I guess we can talk about the inverse as well. We talked about how the innies figuring out what the outies do is one situation, but then the fact that your outside you will never know what you do inside work is really, really fucked. The main character's sister makes a really good point. Oh, I don't know if it was a sister, it was someone makes a really good point and says what if you're murdering people in there? Do you not care? Because you'll never know. You could, if this was a thing in real life and you got severed, the company could say, oh yeah, you're just down there processing files. You could be raping innocent people. You could be murdering.
Yeah, you could be murdering people. You could be doing horrible, horrible things.
And you would just never know.
You would simply never know.
And that's kind of terrifying, to be honest.
Do they get paid well?
I think they get paid fine.
Average?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if they were quite rich because of it.
Doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
They also live in a very, very small Midwestern town.
Oh, interesting.
It's I don't know what state they're in. It's this weird ass small Midwestern town where the only interesting place is a diner.
Huh.
So, yeah, there's not much going on there. But it's a very interesting concept, having a separate personality for work. Because, like we said before, if you get fired, that version of you just dies. They're just gone because they'll never wake up again. And also between season 1 and 2, there's a 5-month time skip where the main 4 people weren't brought back to work for 5 months. But their innies, 5 months goes by in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Because they're not alive for it. Which is basically a coma at that point, which, again, the moral implications and the ethics behind that are very questionable.
True, but I feel for a work persona, there's nothing that they really missed outside.
For them, it doesn't matter, of course not.
But so it's not, it's not too bad.
If we talked about this in terms of again, we talk about the work persona, I'll bring up something that happens in the show, very small spoiler, that is a much more interesting implication is that there is a woman in this show who I think works as a higher up at the Lumen company that used Severance while she was pregnant. So she didn't have to go through the pregnancy.
Oh.
So they're saying, and in the show, they're we want to bring severance to everyone in the world. So whenever they have to go through a painful or difficult experience, they can just sever themselves and not have to deal with it. And that is a much more scary thing.
I obviously the idea, because they bring in someone severed, they're just, pregnant for the 9 months, they suffer, and then they leave the place, and then they have all the memory, they never come back to the place unless they need to avoid pain again. Oh. Does it affect the baby?
I don't think so. It's just a mental brainwave thing. But it does affect relationships with people, obviously.
Oh, 100%.
And if they're saying, obviously at the point in the show, it's not a very big thing. I don't know if she used it for the whole pregnancy or just when she was in labor or a few days around that, but any amount of time. Because say, I don't know, say you have to go to the DMV.
Yeah. I'd sever myself.
Get severed for that.
No.
It sounds like a very small thing, but you start doing that more and more for everything in life that's somewhat difficult.
Yeah.
Then this version of you doesn't know how to deal with difficult issues. It's the same problem with parents who shelter their kids way too much. It's if you never...
the issues are going to come up at some point in time, and you won't have this crutch.
If you don't learn how to deal with difficult situations, then when they, like you said, when they eventually come up, you're screwed for them.
It's also, if you keep taking yourself out of difficult situations, let's say this pregnant person was pregnant for 9 months, severed. Well, hopefully it means that they have a partner.
Yep.
Is how they got pregnant. Is that partner just without them for 9 months? What if they cheat on you? Hopefully it wouldn't happen, but like,
yep.
It's possible. The person could be like, well, they're gone for 9 months. I guess I'm just going to do what I want.
Well, they'll still be there. They'll just be a different person to them. They won't remember their fiance. Or
I figured they'd be severed, but like be in a facility.
No, they were severed with their partner.
Oh.
So like in this situation, the main character's sister was also pregnant. So they went to like this birthing facility, which was like a lodge cabin like area. It was really weird. And she went out to get coffee and she saw this woman making coffee in the lodge next to her. And she went in, said hi, blah, 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 blah. Then saw that woman a few days later and the woman didn't remember her at all. And she figured out, she severed herself for the labor or for the whole pregnancy or whatever. But her man was with her the whole time. So her So her partner, because they both worked at Lumen, so I guess he understood like, hey, I know you're going to do this, so I don't care. But it is a bit of a scary thing that like, I don't think this technology would ever be possible in real life. I mean, like,
no,
bipolarism's a thing, and like, that's kind of.
But it's not the same.
It's not the same, but it's kind of close in a sense, I guess. Like, different
personality-wise, but you also don't lose all your memories.
I think maybe some of them do lose some memories.
I mean, I guess I don't know, but
yeah, but I mean, well, in Severed as well, Severance, you're talking about like, is your partner going to be there? They could cheat. There is office romance in this, so like you can have a relationship with someone in there, and you'll never know on the outside. You can just go ahead and cheat on your partner. And
then it begs the question: if it's almost a different person, is it morally wrong?
Exactly.
Oh God, I'd almost say no.
Because I don't know whether I want to spoil this part because it is very close to what we're talking about. Are you gonna watch it?
That's fine. I don't know. I don't have Apple TV is my problem.
Oh, I don't either. I watch it through Prime Video.
Oh, interesting. Oh, well, I don't know if Apple TV's in Australia.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'll say it anyways. Well, basically what I'll say is that there's a character in the show that has office romance, but then finds out there's a person on the outside that he was with that is also down there but severed.
Oh.
And then it's a thing of like, oh, my severed self likes this person, but I also know that my outie person is with this person. So is it like okay for me to pursue this when I know she's there?
Yeah. And what if the any version of that person has office romance with someone else?
It's a weird situation, yeah.
It is a weird situation. Huh.
I mean, we can go back to we can go back to cloning as well. Like, if you found out that you were cloned, would you be okay with your clone sleeping with your girlfriend?
And they kind of get into that in Mickey 17 because that actually happens.
Yeah, like is that a thing that would be because it is you?
Because it's you, but it's not you.
Yeah, it's like, hey, if you had sex with a clone of yourself, is it gay? Please let me know. Asking for a friend.
Asking for you see a clone in the background of the video that's like tied up.
Yeah, he's just chilling,
trying to get out. Now he's just playing video games.
Yeah,
that's what your clone would be doing right now, just playing a little Call of Duty.
Definitely not Call of Duty. The fuck.
Oh, okay. Well, what are you playing right now?
GTA.
I feel like you're okay. Actually, no. You and your clone would just be playing GTA, or one would be playing GTA, one would be editing.
Probably, yeah. That actually makes sense.
And then you'd switch on and off.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
That's... Huh. Would you do it, Dan?
Would I what?
Severed.
Oh. So this is the thing. When I started the show, I was like, it's not too bad, but the more I watch it and the more they explain different things, I'm like, oh yeah, this is actually like really fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like a massive problem. My biggest issue would be the fact that I don't know, because I'm a very curious person by nature. And I would be so curious to know what the fuck's going on down there. I wouldn't be able to let myself do it. Like the thought of like my memory just not being able to remember stuff kind of terrifies me.
No, yeah, I'm in the same boat where I think like the idea of it, maybe like a day is kind of interesting. but like not knowing what you do for 8 hours a day or for the rest of, the other 16 hours of the day is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think it would maybe be a bit better if like you were severed, you went to work for 8 hours, but the second you step out, you don't experience the 8 hours, but you get your memories from the 8 hours. I think that would be a bit better.
So you just know what's going on. Or there's like a log somewhere where you could just like kind of, I don't know. I think having the memories would be good. Yeah, like it doesn't feel like you worked 8 hours, but you're like, oh, I know what I did at work today.
Like I remembered what happened there. Almost like when you think back to what you did yesterday, you don't experience the 16 hours you awake, but you know what you did yesterday. That sort of similar situation, I think, would be a lot better because at the end of the day, it's still your personality. And while the people in there are like maybe slightly different than their outside selves because, nature versus nurture, like one of them is like soft and gentle, and then the outside of him listens to rock music and rides a motorbike. But they're still like similar enough. I'd trust that a severed version of myself wouldn't do anything crazy.
Yeah.
Now, obviously,
unless forced to.
True. Now, obviously, the issue with this situation is the company is very like controlling and freaky
and shady
and does fucked up things. So I wouldn't trust a company like that. But in general, I mean, like I think there could possibly be a place for it, like with the labor. If a woman could tune herself out for labor and then just get their memories back afterwards, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would choose to do that.
Yeah. That would be nice.
It's like when you go get your wisdom teeth out. But at the same time,
she did experience it.
She did.
Just like a different... Yeah, it's weird.
Different version.
Different version, I guess. Different set of memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do it either.
And then it gets to the point of question of which one's the real one out of the two of you.
True.
Because there's also a character that she finds... they find out who they are on the outside. They hate the person they are on the outside. And they're like, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
Because I hate
like
that version.
The outside is the original.
Well, obviously it's original in terms of like age, yes.
Yeah. But like, because like the innie is only there for work. But so I'd say feasibly the outie.
But is the innie still... Because like there's another spoiler, but it's pretty early in the show. There's a person that manages to unsever, basically, combine back their memories. But the way it worked is that their memories are basically fucked in a way that like their first memory of their lives, like when they're 5, is parallel to the innie's first memory of them waking up, and like it completely messes with their mind. So then they mix the both the lives together.
Huh. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
To have both like 1-year-old memories and 40-year-old person memories
at the same time, parallel
at the same time. Ugh.
Oof.
Yikers.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see where the show goes. I think I have like 5 more episodes.
I've heard such good things, and I might watch it at some point. But honest to God, I just don't have Apple TV.
It is,
and I have about everything else.
Yeah, I think we were talking a few episodes ago about how like mainstream TV is a bit shit at the moment. This is a show that's changed my opinion. This is a really, really...
And the thing is, there is still good stuff that is coming out. I think there's just so much stuff that's coming out, and a lot of it isn't that good.
Yeah, I mean, low-key, I'm not an Apple fanboy, but they make good shows. Only 2 I've seen...
Apple consistently makes good shows. Ted Lasso was really good. Yep. I've heard, I think it's The Morning Show. I've heard that was really good. Reese Witherspoon and other actors. Severance is really good. It feels like Apple TV makes really good original stuff.
Yep.
But they don't have the quantity of content,
which is honestly a good thing.
Everyone else kind of has.
Because I mean,
which is a good thing. But if you're trying to justify a subscription,
yeah, exactly. They shouldn't have their own streaming service.
Hard.
They should just have originals on other platforms. But it is what it is.
Or they need more stuff. But there's only so much stuff out there, and it's like, stuff is constantly changing what's on what. I went to go watch Django Unchained, and it's not on anything right now. And I was surprised because I've definitely watched Django on, I don't know, Netflix or Max or something like that.
Yeah.
But the rights to things just change all the fucking time.
Yeah, kind of annoying, honestly.
That's strange.
Yeah, I mean, this is a different topic, but the idea of different personas sort of got me thinking about the fact that like our persona on camera for YouTube is
it's true.
not the same as real people.
No.
And there's been
I'm not deadpan in real life.
There are a lot of creators out there that have experienced this, like getting like meeting fans in person, and you're not as like bubbly and like YouTube crazy as you are on camera, and they're like disappointed by it. I'm like, you need to realize I'm a real person as well. Like I think PewDiePie talked about it a lot. Like PewDiePie back in the day, very like over the top, crazy, you know, shouty, screamy,
off the wall,
creator. But in person, he's like a big introvert and like quite a quiet spoken like person. But when he was so famous and had met people in the streets, they get kind of shocked by like how different he is.
Yeah.
And I feel like I mean, sort of the same as well.
It's kind of like actors, but I don't think, because actors in a movie or TV show act a certain way, and obviously they're not going to be the same person as their persona. Or like when they're on the red carpet, they're forced to be a lot more extroverted.
Yep.
And some of them are, but like not all of them are. It's kind of it's a job, and it's a flip that they switch. I work in customer service, and I have a customer service voice, and I interact with customers in a way that I don't fucking want to interact with strangers like that, but it's a part of my job.
Yep.
So I do it, and it's something I turn on. It's not my real self per se.
Yeah.
And it, you know, like it's the same thing with YouTube. I think people have a hard time with YouTube because YouTube is about making content for people, and it feels very personal because a lot of times it's just them. And so it's like, oh, it feels like so nice and personal and real, but it's like they're still like making stuff and oftentimes acting in a way. It's just they're not necessarily a character, they're just a version of themselves.
Yeah, and the perception around YouTube specifically, like you said, is very different because traditionally it's always been this like it's you, whereas like actors, they're playing a character. People know they're playing a character. Some people get a bit crazy about it, but for the most part, you know when Jack Black, Steve in the Minecraft movie, that's why no, he is exactly himself in the Minecraft movie, isn't he? He is going to play Jack Black. What's a better example? I don't know.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio in Django is a little different from Leonardo DiCaprio in real life. Hopefully,
indeed. But like,
God, I hope so, because he's like a monster in that movie,
and that's expected because he's playing a different character. Whereas like, Mr. Beast on camera to real life is probably a very different person. And if you expect Mr. Beast,
I would bet he's a lot quieter of a person.
Yeah.
In person rather than on camera.
And if you expect Mr. Beast, but you get Jimmy, you're gonna be like, whoa, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah. So kind of I mean, to some degree that is kind of a tie to Severance, which is interesting. A real life, much more mundane version, but
yeah. I mean, that's the closest we probably have to it in real life. That, or I guess split bipolarism to a degree.
Yeah.
That's usually
that's also not something you can like
control,
give to someone.
No.
You have it or you don't.
Exactly.
So yeah. Thought-provoking things, Dan. And I think a good place to settle up.
I agree. I need a piss.
Yeah. Well, everyone, I don't know. Have a thought exercise. I don't care what it is, but just like have a thought exercise. Just think at some point in the week between this video and the next.
Just think.
At least one thought.
Just like, hey,
just think.
Just
have a thought.
Yeah, sure.
At least one. Look. It might be a hard ask. I myself, this is the only time I really think. I'm barely thinking right now. So we're really, the little steam is coming out the headphones. If I didn't have these on, this is trapping the steam in from all the hard work my brain is doing right now.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Off camera, I pull this out and it's like big puffs.
Yeah, it's like a giant smoke
coming out the ears.
Smoke.
Yeah,
machine.
It's a lot of smoke. I just like pass out. You stay on video and just wait until I'm like, I've come back because you worry that I'm just dead.
Yeah, I do it every time. It's great.
Yeah. It's a real process, guys. It's really bad. But anyways,
I am tired at 2 p.m.
Have a nice day. Oh boy, Dan. You poor soul. All right. Bye, everyone.
Yep. I am sorry for wasting your lives.